As Skip said, my name is Dwyer. I'm a driver in the number 27 Freedom Motorsports Mazda MX-5, racing this weekend in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge Series. My co-driver is Andrew Carbonell. This is our first year together, and this is my first full season in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge Series. We're actually leading the points as we stand right now. What makes my story somewhat interesting, different from the other racers here, is I was injured in Afghanistan 4 years ago. I'm a Marine. I recently retired just less than 2 months ago. And while in Afghanistan, while searching a compound, I stepped on a bomb that blew off my left leg and severely damaged the 3 remaining limbs that I have in my body. I spent over 4 years at Walter Reed Military Medical Center and been through over 50 surgeries and been through thousands and thousands of hours of rehab. And I never really had the goal of racing in mind until about 1.5 years ago when I realized that this could be an opportunity. I'm very honored and lucky to be here with all these great drivers and fans here today, so thank you very much.
Before we move on, tell people the timeline from getting hurt, getting out of the hospital, first time ever around a racetrack, the first race win.
So I got injured in 2011, and I started racing vintage cars actually the very next year. And we adapted the car a little bit to me, and then the next season, 2013, I started racing a car that I had owned at that time, started doing NASA and SCCA racing, which are 2 smaller sanctioning bodies for club racing. And then the very next year, I was racing in the IMSA Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge Series, which was last year. My first race was at Mazda Raceway in Laguna Seca, and I made my introduction by crashing and burning very spectacularly right there on TV. But I made up for it by coming back to my home track. I'm a Connecticut graduate from Litchfield High School, about 30 minutes from Lime Rock, and got my first ever win at Lime Rock last year, so I'm very much looking forward to being back there this weekend.
I do believe, correct me if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I think the drill is take off your prosthesis, pass it through the window, somebody hooks it up to the clutch, you climb in the car, and connect it.
So we have a different leg that we use. What Skip's talking about is I get in the car beforehand, and then there's a special leg that I use that operates the clutch. And in working with my prosthetist at Walter Reed, and also working with my engineers in the Freedom Motorsports team, we designed the leg instead of designing the car so I could operate a clutch. So I operate a regular manual transmission that you can buy in a Mazda MX-5 if you were to buy one. And there's a little pin that's attached to that we attach my leg to. So I operate the clutch. I relearned how to heel toe with my damaged leg, and I still operate a 6-speed gearbox. The only thing that's different there is we have a hand pump for the brakes, so I can pump the brakes so I can preload them as we come into a corner. The racers here understand what I'm talking about, but that's something that you have to learn how to do so you can have brakes when you come into a corner. And those are the only modifications that we made. So when we do a driver change, which we have to do in our racing, I quickly disconnect my leg. The entire leg comes out with me. My buddy comes over and yanks me out, then Andrew jumps in, and we do our driver changes from me stopping to the door being closed in less than 23 seconds.